Hey, y'all, welcome back. Got a creepy spot out here in the middle of the woods for this one. Probably shouldn't be out here by myself, but I'm a grown man and I figure I can handle it. I will say, I don't really have any emergency contacts, so if something happens to me and somebody uploads the incomplete footage of this video, for some reason, well, I'd tell you to contact the authorities, but by that time I'm probably already fish food. But anyway, what I got for you today is a movie called Marshmallow. And if you ever seen the Friday the 13th series, this is kind of a take on that, but it's got some pretty crazy twists and turns that I thought would be fun to cover on the channel. So, anyway, the movie starts out with a kid named Morgan, and he's a little nerdy guy, but he's trying to make friends. And he crosses the street and tries to play some basketball with some of the neighbor kids. And they go ahead and call him a loser and immediately leave. And by the way, if you're a bully, you can go right ahead and fuck yourself. Okay? You absolutely suck. And as far as I'm concerned, you can go ahead and drive off a cliff while you're staring at your cell phone. But anyway, now that everybody knows how I feel about that, the kid tries to forget about the bullying at dinner. And usually the elderly are some of the most considerate people that exist in our society. But on this occasion, the kid's grandpa decides this would be a great time to go ahead and have a goddamn heart attack. So he lets out a yell and flops on the ground and goes right ahead and dies. And everybody's real sad about it except the kid's mom for some reason. For some reason, she looks down at the old man with a look on her face that's like, how dare you die in my kitchen? Like, that shit is unbelievable. So if you do watch this movie, I'd suggest you pause on her face to get a pretty good chuckle there. Anyway, it's a tough scene at home, so the parents decide that they're going to go ahead and send Morgan to summer camp so he can try and get away from it all. And this summer camp is basically like Camp Crystal Lake from Friday the 13th. It's got a lot of hot, unqualified counselors and a bunch of crazy kids running around. But in this movie, the story is told from the campers' perspective rather than the counselors. So anyway, Morgan, he keeps getting bullied at camp, especially when it becomes known that he cannot swim. They line up the kids for a swim test, and Morgan nopes out of it like a kid that can't swim. And but that's okay. He finds some other kindred spirits and makes friends with them. It's nice to see that there are some children out there that aren't goddamn Neanderthals. So everything's going real great till he starts seeing a creepy figure in the woods. And as a kid, being away from your family at a weird summer camp, seeing creepy people in the woods late at night is not exactly how I would want to spend my summer. But unfortunately, things only get creepier and more uncomfortable when later that night, over some delicious hot chocolate by the campfire, the counselors decide they're going to tell the little kids the story of the doctor. And this might be the most inappropriate story I've ever heard orated to young children. So buckle up for this one. So the story of the doctor goes that before the summer camp was there, it was a bunch of families living in their cabins. And in one particular cabin lived a surgeon who happened to go insane. And he started killing everyone at the lake and stitching their bodies together down in his cellar to create monsters. And his madness was so deep that he even opted to kill and stitch together his own family. And to cap off this incredibly appropriate tale for the kids, the counselors let them know that the word is that if you sneak out of your cabin late at night and break curfew, you are likely to encounter the doctor still wandering through the woods. So, yeah, I don't know what these parents are paying to send their kids to this bumfuck establishment, but, I can't imagine the reviews on Yelp and Google are all that glowing. So, after the campers are properly scared shitless, they head to their cabins for the night, and there's this girl that walks with Morgan, and she starts flirting with him. So, who says nerds can't get the ladies, right? I'm all about it. Nerds rise up. It's the future is yours. So Morgan, riding the high of being dead sexy, goes to the camp bathroom. And while he's taking a dump in there, he somehow falls asleep and he starts having nightmares about being drowned and water exploding from a stab wound through his belly. And he also hallucinates that the doctor has slipped into his cabin and is waiting for him to come back. So, that's not exactly how I would have celebrated winning a woman's affection. But, nerds, they do things a little bit different. So, anyway, the next day, a bully named CJ takes Morgan down to the pier and says that he'd like to apologize for absolutely nothing and throws his ass into the lake. And if you'll recall, Morgan can't swim. So this is not good. So, he drowns. But he is resuscitated by a counselor. And while all this madness is going on, CJ beats another camper nearly to death. So the devil done got into that boy. And this movie's going down a dark, dark path. And unfortunately, things only get darker when that night Morgan sleepwalks into a strange building, which is revealed to be the doctor's cellar of ungodly surgery. And when he wakes up, he sees his old pal CJ sliced and diced on a surgical table like some goddamn Swiss cheese. This is a lot for a kid to take in, so Morgan's sitting there trying to make sense of everything when suddenly the damn doctor comes storming down the stairs, turns the corner, and when Morgan sees him, he's like, "Oh, shit!" And after a scuffle, Morgan is luckily able to narrowly escape. But after that, all hell breaks loose. Because the doctor grabs a futuristic taser that's about the size of a baseball bat, and he starts trouncing through the camp, turning all the kids into petrified planks before dragging them back to his cellar to do God knows what. And while the rest of the innocent children are getting tasered and surgically operated on, Morgan and his group of nerdy friends embark on an odyssey of plot twists that I am now going to attempt to share with you in a way that maybe, possibly, hopefully can be understood. So, first of all, we learn that there is no doctor at all. It really just was a story to scare the kids into staying in their beds. And secondly, it turns out that the camp counselors are the villains. They're the ones that have been dressed up in medical gear and masks going around tasering all the children. And I know what you're asking next. You're saying, Tom, why in the world would they do that? And by the way, my name's Tom. So I don't think I mentioned that before, but now you know that. Well, for our third and final twist, it turns out that all of the kids present at the camp actually died years ago. That's right. They're all dead. And what they are now are actually replicants that cannot grow on their own. These replicants are described as being somewhere between human and machine. And every year they are brought to the summer camp to receive tweaks and upgrades, and then have their minds wiped before being sent home. And all of this is part of a secret program to ensure that parents never have to lose a child. So, earlier when Morgan found CJ cut open, he wasn't dead. He was just getting a goddamn software update. And when the counselors tell Morgan this, it seems like they shouldn't have done that because it sends a goddamn glitch through the system, and all the fake kids suddenly know the truth. And they're pretty damn pissed about it. So once they know what's going on, they go ahead and kill all the counselors in a violent, graphic manner. And, well, that's how it ends. But, anyway, I found it to be a pretty entertaining movie. A lot of people don't know this, but horror is actually my favorite genre. I'll watch a horror movie anytime, especially if it's back from the 80s or, just some kind of sleazy, grimy old one that, particularly slashers. I love the slasher movies. They're real stupid, but they're a good time. They make you feel all warm and fuzzy inside. But anyway, I didn't know if y'all remembered that. And, if you like remembering things with me, you can click the button down there to check in when I talk about some other stuff. But anyway, appreciate y'all being here, and I'll talk to you again soon.